गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णू गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. विघ्नेशानमुनी गुरु सस्मरुनी लक्ष्मीस आवाहिले. आम्ही गुंतवणूकशास्त्र शिकण्या हे सत्र आरंभिले. केव्हा स्थावर आणि जंगम कधी कोठे किती गुंतवू. चर्चा मंथन तज्ञ बोध मिळता हे प्रश्नही सोडवू. ठेवी भाग सुवर्ण पोस्ट अथवा रोखे तसे फंडते. वृद्धी भांडवली मिळो कर नको पर्याय हो कोणते. कोठे उत्तम रोखता सुगमता लाभांश वा व्याजही. कोठे गुंतविणे सुरक्षित असे नोंदीस कैसी वही. सन्मार्गे धन संपदा मिळविणे अत्यंत आवश्यक. पैसा ध्येय नसे म्हणून जपणे जाणीव सामाजिक. ज्ञानाचा उपयोग गुंतवणुकी साठी सदा होऊ दे. हे सारे समजावया सुमती दे आम्हास तू शारदे.
Good morning all. We are gathering after a pretty long time, and so we are out of practice. Thank you for bearing with us. So today's program actually is being held under the World Investor Week, which SEBI celebrates. Being a part of ISCO, SEBI is also bound by the programs identified by ISCO, and so we are here to celebrate World Investor Week, and we are blessed by Mirae Assets for sponsoring this program, and we have Ms. Alpa Shah, who previously visited us. Visited us for a similar program on creating wealth from using mutual funds. Today's program actually will be an extension of what we had in the 2 months back, a program on creating wealth through mutual funds. This will be more focused on calculation of your returns, how you need to look at your returns, what matters actually is whether it's the absolute return or the CAGR, and how you need to calculate that. We will also touch upon some other important aspects of financial planning, and so you'll get a better insight into how mutual fund is a tool which is very flexible in your hands to create wealth. So with that brief introduction, actually I would like to start the program. I will hand over the desk to Alpaji. So one request for all the participants here, I will request you to keep your mobiles on silent mode, or minimize the volume of your ringtones. So with that request, we'll start the program. Over to you, Alpaji.
Namaskar, good morning. Thank you ध्रुव जी and the entire committee जो मुझे वापस यहाँ पे बुलाया. और मेरा एसेट म्यूचुअल फंड के लिए भी मैं थैंक यू बोलना चाहूँगी उनको. ये इन्वेस्टर अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम है, और जैसे कि ध्रुव जी ने बताया, हम मंडे से, आने वाले मंडे से वर्ल्ड इन्वेस्टर वीक सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, तो हम तो थोड़ा जल्दी ही शुरू कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, अभी आज जो हम पूरा जो हमारा सेशन का फ़्लो है, सबसे पहले मैं हिंदी में बोलूँ या इंग्लिश में बोलूँ या दोनों लैंग्वेज? English is perfect? Okay. All right. So the flow of today's session is that maybe around say half an hour we will discuss on goal-based financial planning, mainly investor awareness program sponsored by Mirae Asset Mutual Fund under the IAP budget. After that, we will also try to understand the different types of returns. We will not make it complicated, we will make it very easy, not much of arithmetics, but we must know few things while we invest our money, that what kind of returns we should look at, right? And then maybe followed by question and answer. And if you all have time and if you all want to also understand few things about Gift City, then maybe we can take that session also. Few slides I have, but that will be depending upon the time. If we have it, we'll go through that. All right. So once again, thank you so much. And if you all have any questions, any doubts, please feel free. You can surely ask me in between also if you feel it's really relevant and at that particular moment only you want to get it clarified. More than happy. Otherwise, you can park your question, and once the session is over, you can surely ask me, and more than happy to answer. And we have Dhaval with us. Can we have a big round of applause for him? Dhaval, even though it's a holiday and he's come from the town side to suburb, and I think we must really appreciate, he's from Mirai Asset Mutual Fund, and nowhere any products will be discussed. It's not at all a promotion kind of a session, purely education session. And I'm a neutral trainer. I'm not from Mirai Asset Mutual Fund. So this is the level of session today, positioning of session.
Before we proceed, I will request Mr. Uday Tardalkar to hand over the memento or the... Yeah, please.
So nice, so nice.
Come. Please.
So before I start my session, I'm sure you all are investing your hard-earned money somewhere or the other, right? Can I ask, where do you all invest your money? Anybody can just raise hand and say, yes sir.
I invest in the mutual funds, all the mutual funds.
Okay sir. Not in stocks directly. Okay. This side, would you like to say anything, ma'am? Yeah? Spread over. So you are following a kind of an asset allocation and you are investing in multi-products, right? Depending upon your need, risk-taking appetite, and maybe you feel that, okay, I should invest only this much into this particular asset class. That's what I feel. So he is investing in fixed deposit also and mutual fund and shares also. Would you like to share something? Any women in the group?
Yeah, previously I had invested in property.
Okay.
But then after that, my CA advised me to switch over to mutual funds.
Oh, okay. And you did that?
I did.
Lovely. You know, maybe your CA must have realized that too much into physical asset class may not work wonderfully well because liquidity is a very big criteria. And mutual fund is one of the best products as far as liquidity is concerned. And maybe that's the reason he must have suggested you. So now today you are investing fully in mutual fund? Mostly. That's a very wise decision. How many of you? Yes, sir?
Liquidity you talked about, right? But you know, preference given by me, as I have as of that way. Little money is there in gold, fixed deposit, share, and majority in the mutual fund. So this order only you have to liquidate. That's what I understand.
Okay, so sir, again you are also following a particular asset allocation which is advised to you and which is the best decision. So we'll discuss all these things, and it depends on your need and your investment, when you have invested and how you want to liquidate it. So
Whatever I liquidate, for whatever reason. So I sell my gold first,
okay,
then FD, then fixed deposit, and finally mutual fund. Am I right?
it depends, sir. There is no general or 100% correct answer. Again, it really depends on which particular asset class you want to liquidate as far as profitability is concerned. So either you can follow FIFO or LIFO method depending upon your call. So there is nothing which is fixed in this. Okay, so we will discuss all these things, but let me finish this presentation. How many of you all are doing SIP? Wonderful. Most of you. जिन्होंने हाथ ऊपर नहीं किए, they don't do. Who? Okay, so let me ask you this question. Who all have not yet started SIP? Please be very honest to yourself. Really, sir? This side, how many of you all have not started your SIP? Everyone? Okay, this side? All right. So, sir, only you are the only one in the class. Either you're too honest or you really need to gear up. But appreciated, sir. Okay. So, let's quickly finish this presentation and then we'll discuss. So, few rules before we start our investments. How much to invest and how much to spend? This is the first question many times people have a dilemma in. So there is again nothing which is 100% foolproof. What we can teach you is, if you'll do even this much, I think you are sorted. So 50-30-20 rule is something which we always insist on. 50% of what you earn can be spent on your basic needs. 30% of what you earn, you can spend on your wants. And 20% at any point of time, we highly recommend that you should invest for your future financial planning needs. Okay? So this is how one must allocate their funds or whatever they are earning. Now again, there is nothing which is stopping you by not investing more and controlling your wants. But this is the basic formula which I am trying to give you. So I request all of you, just remove your last 5 years income. Okay? Suppose you have earned in last 5 years, say 10 lakhs rupees. I'm sure you all are knowing your balance sheet and profit and loss account, right? So if you have earned 10 lakhs rupees in last 5 years, just do a rough arithmetic calculation that have I spent this much in my needs, this much in my wants, and have I really invested 20% of what I've earned in my future financial planning goals. So 10 lakhs ka 20% is how much? So at least 2 lakhs I think you should have invested. And if you haven't invested, please rework on it. You need really help. Some counselor, some financial planner, somebody who can really teach you where you can restrict your expenses and start investing for your future financial planning goals. If not 20%, I request at least 10% you should start with. Okay? So this is rule number 1. Once you arrive at, say, for example, once you arrive at, say, 2 lakhs rupees in last 5 years you had to invest, but you haven't done that. So that 2 lakhs rupees, either you will have to increase eventually, substantially, gradually, ethically, morally, organically. Remember that. There is no shortcut for anything in life, especially if you want to really do well in your money management skills. It requires a lot of patience, long-term approach, and definitely hard work and focus. And one more thing, everything you cannot do on your own, so you will need help, whether you believe it or not. It's like losing weight. You need a trainer, you need a dietitian. At the same time, you'll have to put in a lot of efforts from your own side if you really want to be healthy and losing weight. So the same rules and same principles apply when you do your money management. Once you arrive at, say, some amount, where to invest? Now, many people told me that we invest in multi-products, multi-assets. Now, that is what is extremely important. You have to follow a certain type of asset allocation depending upon your risk-taking appetite, your age, and your liquidity criteria. Can you repeat with me? Can you repeat with me what are the 3 things one must definitely look for when you are designing a particular asset allocation for yourself? Which are those three things which I mentioned right now? Your age, risk-taking appetite, and third thing? Yeah. So the toughest thing to manage in this world is liquidity. For example, if tomorrow you need that money, and if you don't get it, or if you have to book loss while redeeming that money, it's not at all a good asset allocation or portfolio you have designed for yourself. So liquidity criteria is the toughest one, and liquidity risk is something which you will have to manage every time. All other risks like market risk, credit risk are manageable, and it's not in your hand. But liquidity criteria is something which you definitely have to understand and then invest your money. How many of you all know what is inflation? What is inflation? Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, inflation is the price. Like today I'm buying a toothpaste for 100 rupees. After 5 years it will be 150. So I'll have to take out more money from my pocket. That's inflation.
Absolutely. So it also means that your purchasing power reduces over a period of time because of inflation. So today is 100 rupees, next year will be around 94, 95, and after 10 years it may be 35, 40 rupees. The purchasing power. So one must have to be extremely smart in beating inflation, if not in short term, medium to long term. And according to me, it is so important to understand that where we are investing our hard-earned money, is it really beating inflation in medium to long term? So your 100 rupees which you are investing today should not give you a purchasing power of 40 rupees after say 10 years, that too after your investment. So your real rate of return is something which is extremely important for all of you to understand. So we are going to learn what is CAGR return, what is simple return, what is rolling returns, what is XIRR and what is IRR. But you also have to understand what is real rate of return in my hand. After deducting your taxes, after deducting or understanding the inflation, what is the real rate of return I'm getting in my hand? And that is not at all a calculation, that's just a kind of a general knowledge which you all should have it. We are not here to master the calculations. Formulas are there. Excel is there. You don't have to work hard for the other things. But you have to understand that in this type of investment, should I see the fixed return or should I see the CAGR return? Should I see the XIRR or I should calculate the rolling return? Which is the best method of understanding whether I've got real good returns on my investments or not. So that kind of general knowledge is very important, and that is what we are going to learn today in a very, very simple way. I'm not going to make it complicated at all. So beating inflation becomes your highest priority, right? And of course, you have to understand that whatever you are earning, eventually you will have to generate passive income. Can anybody tell me what is passive income? Don't go too much by the slides. I'm also putting in few points from my own way because PPT will be really lengthy otherwise.
And passive income is something like rent income?
Yes, sir. Absolutely right,
Work
sir.
for it, but it keeps on coming.
Absolutely right, sir. So passive income is that you work hard for few years or maybe few more years, and then you enjoy the fruits by getting the additional source of income, mainly through returns on those investments. And that's what is passive income. What is multiple source of income? And what is the difference between multiple source of income and passive income?
Passive income is a kind of engine which you have started and it's generating the
Very nice. Very nice
The
answer.
other one is where you're working there or you're spending time. You're spending time.
Additional time. Correct. Absolutely right. So multiple source of income is when you put in hard work again. You are doing two jobs instead of one job. But passive income is you have already worked hard and now you're just managing that investments or money and you are getting another source of returns or income because of that. And that's what is passive income. Very smart way of generating income. So when we are young, when we are in midlife, we can work really hard, right? But eventually when we grow old, we may not be able to work that much hard, but the passive income which we have will look after ourselves. And in fact, there will be a stage in your life wherein your active income will be lesser than your passive income. And there is a stage in your life wherein your active income is more than your passive income. When you are more productive, right? So one must definitely aim that I should have a lot of passive income in my life. That is the wonderful management of your money and life both. I think I've covered most of it. Now, let me also touch base upon goal-based financial planning. So what is goal-based financial planning? So we spoke about asset allocation, risk, how much to invest, what is active and passive income, what kind of returns one must see when they are investing their money. So many things we have learned. But what is goal-based financial planning? Absolutely, absolutely right. So, fantastic answer. But when we talk about goal-based financial planning, we can only think about 2-3 things. Marriage of the children, education of the children, retirement, that's it. The world is changing, evolving. Please sit back, relax and understand what is exactly your goal in life. For what you want to invest your money. Right? Thoda sa, please go home and talk to yourself. One thing, please remember, all the children now, they're going to do 1,000 times better than us. You pick up last 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years. Every next generation have done much more better than their parents. So stop worrying about children all the time when you think about goal-based financial planning. Give them good education, value system, family values. And then I think they will do wonderfully well. What we have to also understand is that what are the actual goals which I want to achieve in my life. And give some kind of limit, age, date, that before this I will achieve this, before this I will do this. It can be anything. It can be a very big car, it can be skydiving, it can be charity, social work, it can be parents. One more thing, we always think about children a lot, but we eventually sometimes forget about our parents. So we also have to have something for them in our goals and dreams. So this is of course not related with IAP, but I just thought I'll just put it in your mind so maybe you can think about it. So goal-based financial planning is so important that the moment you sit down, relax and write about it, you will 100% achieve it. Because you will never stop that investment for any small materialistic aspiration of your life and forget the bigger goal. So for example, if your bigger goal is, say after 5 years, you want to send your parents on a preliminary tour or whatever. You will never buy a smartphone today and break that SIP or investment. Because if you will not invest here or if you will break this, you may not be able to send your parents on that tour. You are killing your own wealth, right? And you are not going to achieve that particular dream or goal with the help of that particular investment. So you become very sensitive about your investment, and that is what is goal-based financial planning all about. And I would also like to request you one thing, that please don't put some scheme name. Scheme names are very boring. What you should write is, this particular SIP is for this particular goal. This SIP is my this. Write the dream, write the goal. Don't write the scheme name, because then scheme name becomes very, not so good. But your dream and goal will always be there and reminding you that you cannot stop that SIP, whatever happens. And that automatically will look after your psychology, investor psychology. See, many a times people say that investing is very simple but not easy. It's like morning walk or exercise is very simple but not easy, because we don't get up and go. अलार्म बजता है, हम बंद करके सो जाते हैं. मैं मेरी बात कर रही हूँ, आप लोग तो बहुत डिसिप्लिन वाले होंगे, आई एम श्योर. So what happens is, please remember, your dream and goal which you are investing for will really push you so hard that you will do wonderfully well as an investor. Market ऊपर नीचे जाएगा, आपको कोई टेंशन आएगा नहीं, क्योंकि आपने उसको वो पर्टिकुलर ड्रीम और गोल के लिए निवेश किया है. You will be there, you will never stop, and that is what will make you super duper rich and nothing else in this world. So your own psychology of greed and fear, if you understand and if you maintain that properly, I think you will make tons of money in your life. Nothing else. Products, schemes, plans, future, which particular fund house, that will come much, much later. Trust me. बहुत सारे products है, schemes है. What do you feel? So once you arrive at, say, 20% of your money, say 10,000 rupees, you have to invest every month. Where will you invest? So many products. How will you decide what is good for you? Of course, you will consult a very fine advisor or a financial expert, right? I'm sure you all must be having that. Or you must be doing your own research and trying to, upgrade yourself time to time. So can you all tell me, where will you invest your money? So many products are there, right? Which is the best for you? How will you decide that? So you...
Actually, if you have SIP, then SIP goes every month.
नहीं, sir, SIP to method, sir, SIP is method, no, sir? But product, which one you will select?
Depending on your age, the goal,
Absolutely.
the amount of money.
Absolutely, sir. Super. So you want to add something?
We depend on advisor.
Oh, that's a very diplomatic answer, I would say. Of course, you have to trust your consultant advisor, but blind trust is also not good. Now, you should know what you're doing with your own money. So always ask, if not 10 questions, at least 2 smart why questions to anybody who suggests you that particular product or scheme. It's not that you are asking too many things and then you are eventually not doing it only, you don't trust only anybody. Not that I'm saying. But those 2 things you must know, that why that advisor is insisting you to do that. So if you ask me, I will divide my money into 3 to 4 different boxes. Okay? So which are these boxes? One is my tax planning. Other box is my protection planning. Then I will also do my emergency funding. And lastly, all my medium to long term dreams and goals, wealth creation planning. Can you repeat after me? Broadly, you have to divide your money into few boxes and then fit the products in that particular box depending upon whatever we learned so far. Can you repeat after me which 3 things I am telling you here? First is super. Second is, third is, and fourth is super.
So ma'am, what is the difference between emergency planning and protection?
It's more or less same, but people sometimes complicate themselves in insurance, mediclaim, will drafting, and they forget emergency planning. So then we at times insist, especially after COVID kind of a situation, that you should have 6 months expenses of yours into liquid mutual fund or in any other asset class you feel that you will not touch it, but only use it when you need it, in a very high kind of an emergency, right? So 6 months expenses will go in your emergency fund. What will you do in your tax planning? If you're, how many of you are following the old tax regime here? Okay, very nice. Those who are following the new tax regime, this discussion doesn't apply them because they are just paying the slab-wise tax and then they're investing wherever they want to. But under section 80C, 1.5 lakh, if you're following the old tax regime, you can invest in either PPF or ELSS, which is mutual fund scheme, one of the best schemes. Okay, and 50,000 additional you can invest in NPS also. Again, that is handled by mutual funds. So this is what you can do as far as your tax planning is concerned. You can show your housing loan also. Of course, you can show your insurance and mediclaim, but I would highly suggest and recommend that everything other than this should come in your protection planning. Don't mix it with your tax planning and investments. But again, there is nothing right. There is nothing wrong. I respect your views. If you feel that no, if I'm paying premium on any insurance or any product, I should get some returns on that as well, then you can do. I mean, then it's okay. I mean, I respect your view. But usually we suggest that all the insurance products should be purely protecting you and not you should mix it with your investments. And tax planning is mainly to save tax, but at the same time you should grow your money because finally it's your hard-earned money, right? It's not that the money is just come to you and you are investing, so you're not bothered only for growth of that money. No, that approach is not good, okay? So quickly, when you invest in PPF, say 1.5 lakh for 15 years, and if you get say 8% kind of returns, can anybody tell me how much money you will make in that on 16th year maturity?
Yeah, about 60, 52, 60.
40, 42 lakhs, right? But if the same amount you invest in ELSS, equity linked savings scheme, which is handled by mutual funds, it has a 3 years lock-in and it is invested into usually most of the time a kind of a multi equity or flexi equity, means large, mid and small. Most of this, large is predominantly more, but 100% equity kind of a scheme. And it, in the past it has given phenomenal returns, say around 17-18% also. But let me caution you here that mutual funds are subject to market risk and you cannot ever think that whatever is the past performance you will get it in future. And you have to read the offer document very carefully before investing your hard-earned money. But ELSS, if it gives you 15% kind of returns also, then instead of 40 lakhs in PPF which you are getting, and if you hold on that particular investment for 15 years, rather than 3 years which is the lock-in, then you may make it around 1 crore or so, you know. So it's like 40 lakhs to 1 crore. I'm just trying to pull you or shift you from 8% to 15%, and this 7% CAGR, see again, CAGR return comes into the picture here, and we are going to learn about it after the IAP session is over. We will surely explain you the difference between fixed or plain return and CAGR return. So the moment you get that 7% spread in CAGR return, it's humongous, right? Of course, PPF also has compounding returns. But 8% and 15% is a huge difference. So you have to take a call where you want to invest your money. Any questions?
Madam, that 8% what you are getting, that is the against the risk what you are
Yes,
taking in the
absolutely.
So again, when I am planning for a long-term retirement planning,
Ji.
I should have some kind of foundation where I will assuredly get some return. So in that point of time, PPF is more
Yes, sir.
approachable or more wise decision to invest, start with, and then you can start with the
Yes, sir.
SIP as well.
So if you allow me, I'll just tweak it also a little bit. So you are right, sir, that you need some safety, fixed returns in long term. But the interest rate scenario, if it's going down, so in that case, yes, it works wonderfully well. Because maybe after 7, 8, 10 years, you may not get 8% in PPF also. One more thing, from where PPF is generating 8% to you, sir? Just to answer your question.
Again, they are going to equity only.
No. So see, please, but the government is there. They are giving you guarantee. So what if they have invested in again equity and economy? Government has also given you an opportunity that you directly invest in equity if you wish to. And that's ELSS. So I again leave it up to you, sir. Once again, I'm telling you, there is nothing right, there is nothing wrong. You decide what you want to do with it.
But it is 15% what you mentioned. It is not sacrosanct. It can go down also.
So CAGR return, when I'll teach you, na, some year it must have given you 18%. Some year it must have given you 20. Some year it must have given you negative also. Some year it must have given you 12%. But when you calculate CAGR over a period of long term, the average return is 15% in last 30, 40 years. But again, I'm repeatedly telling you, past performance is never a guarantee of future performance. Super. So many things are there. I have explained you tax planning. I have explained you what is emergency fund and why you should maintain it. Even protection planning to a great extent we all understood, like you have to have your term insurance, mediclaim, critical illness mediclaim, cancer specific mediclaim. You must draft your will, succession planning, nomination. You have to share all the passwords and everything with your family members, especially if your wife is a homemaker. She should know how to claim, where to go, what kind of assets you have, net worth, balance sheet, profit and loss account. Everything should be shared with your spouse, with your family, with your children, if they are grown-ups. It's extremely important, right? So these are a basic hygiene as far as your money management is concerned, and that's why I'm insisting a lot on this. Now we'll quickly go on mutual fund and various schemes and types and all, because the last basket which we are talking here is wealth creation basket. If you do mutual fund, practically everything is covered which you are seeing it on the screen. You don't have to go anywhere. Not for gold, not for real estate, not for anything, even international stocks in various flexi cap scheme of mutual fund is covered. वो भी आपको कहीं जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है ना? So quickly we'll just have a look at investments in mutual fund, and then maybe SIP calculator I will show you. So mutual fund has a lot of advantages: safety, liquidity, returns, convenience, transparency, and of course short-term and long-term capital gain tax is much lesser than the normal rate of tax, and I'm sure you all are aware. We have already spoken about asset allocation, and this is how mutual fund works. You as an investor pull your money, invest in stocks and securities, and it helps you in generating the returns. So these are the schemes. I'll quickly just run through. Mainly for 1 day to 1 year liquid mutual fund. For 1 year to 3 year, maybe you can go for debt mutual fund, which is zero equity, no mark to market. For medium term, like 3 to 6 years, you can definitely go for hybrid funds or balance fund or balance advantage fund, or nowadays multi-asset fund is also doing very well. So you must invest in such products which gives you not just full equity but flavor of different 2-3 more asset classes, and it's working wonderfully well. And anything above than that, like more than that, like 6 year, 10 year, 15 years, long term, then you should go for equity mutual fund scheme. In equity, you have large cap, mid cap, small cap, multi cap, flexi cap, sectorial funds also you have. But don't get confused, It's very easy and nothing much tough about it, It's just that the choice is given to you. You should know what suits you. And secondly, there are passive funds also, like index fund, fund of funds, ETFs. You can consider them as well. It gives a very, optimum and not very maximum kind of returns, and at the same time, safety-wise, it's doing wonderfully well. So even passive funds nowadays handled by mutual fund is doing extremely well. So not just active, passive funds also you can consider. So I think I'll just quickly, I've spoken about most of the things. And this PPT is with Dhruv ji. If anybody wants, please request him, he can always give it to you. So I've already spoken to you about debt funds, debt fund categories, hybrid funds, we spoke to you about it. If you all have any question, I will surely answer at the end of the session. But I'm just going a little quickly so that we can also learn about returns and all. So these are all lock-in period funds, and these are all good funds like retirement fund, children fund. You know, you can consider this. Solution-oriented fund is what we call them. Anybody's clicking the picture, then I'll wait. Otherwise, don't worry. This PPT is available with Dhruv ji. You can always take it. So everyone knows what's NAV, right? The day you enter, like how you enter into stock market, you have to pay that particular day's price the same way. So these are few ratios which today I will not touch base upon, because I'm going to teach you today some calculators, and that's more interesting, right? So scheme related document, you must go through SID, SAI and KIM. Very, very important. Please don't invest unless and until you are at least having the basic knowledge. Okay? Past performance you should not see, but how the fund manager is managing, the philosophy, how process driven the approach is, all those things you should know. Fact sheet is very important. It's like a mark sheet. So if you want to hire anybody, you will see that what kind of marks you have got, what kind of certifications you have. And of course, the riskometer is very, very important. You should know which particular color is showing you which kind of a risk is there when you invest your hard-earned money. Like low, moderately low, moderate, moderately high and high. So depending upon your risk-taking appetite, one must definitely invest the money. This is one of the best slides, I would say, and I'm going to teach you this by way of calculators also. So there are mainly three methods when you invest your money in mutual fund. SIP, Systematic Investment Plan. SWP, Systematic Withdrawal Plan. And STP, Systematic Transfer Plan. Can we do some discussion for 2 minutes over here? So how many of you all know what is the difference between SIP, STP and SWP? Anybody would like to say? What is SIP? Drop by drop you are creating ocean. So you can start with as low as 500 rupees. But if you aspire to have crores of rupees over a period of time, then what will you do? You will start small, but for longer duration, right? Because of compounding, discipline, consistency, long term, you will get that. Market will go up and down. That's not in our hand. What is in our hand? Consistency and long term, right? So SIP is one of the best methods, and that's why mutual fund I respect a lot as a product asset class, because they have innovated such wonderful method for every retail investor to participate and make money. It's not just for rich people to make more money, right? So, in fact, there are few schemes which is also accepting 100 rupees a month. That kind of micro SIP, and that's the contribution of mutual fund industry for retail participation. So please do start your SIP, sir, today itself, because it gives you a very good way of long-term or medium-term wealth creation mode with the help of compounding. Compounding is nothing but vyaj के ऊपर vyaj, चक्रवृद्धि vyaj, है ना? And if you will not break it in between, वो एक प्रोवर्ब है ना हिंदी में, पैसा पैसे को खींचता है, तो ये SIP है. SWP क्या है? विड्रॉल प्लान. नाम से कुछ समझ में आ रहा है? नहीं, ऑपोजिट तो नहीं बोलूँगी मैं. हाँ, यस, क्योंकि विड्रॉल या इन अ वे ऑपोजिट ऑल्सो. आप पहले डाल रहे हो और फिर विड्रॉ कर रहे हो. यस, यू आर राइट. देखिए, पेंशन फंड सुना होगा आप लोगों ने. पेंशन चाहिए, रिटायरमेंट के बाद हमारा स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग तो बढ़ेगा, घटेगा नहीं, मेडिकल एक्सपेंसेस शायद बढ़ सकते हैं. सो व्हाट शुड वी डू? सो फॉर पेंशन वन मस्ट डेफिनेटली थिंक एंड कंसिडर SWP ऑप्शन. सो व्हेन यू आर यंग, even a small participation by way of SIP in any particular scheme for long term will give you huge money. And then when you are retiring or when you need that money, not just retirement, any age, if you need that money back, you can opt for systematic withdrawal plan and it comes into your account every first or whichever date you have selected. It's such a beautiful way of getting the fruits of all your hard work, mehnat, and whatever you have done, you're getting it back with सूद समेत आपको वापस मिल रहा है. वो ये है. So withdrawal plan is nothing but your dignity, your self-confidence, your financial freedom. You're not asking money from anybody else, but you're getting it every month in your account because you have done these investments for years by way of SIP. So जब यंग हो तब SIP करो, जब आपको पैसे की ज़रूरत है तब SWP ऑप्शन आप उसको करो. और ट्रांसफ़र प्लान जब हमें फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल बोनस मिला और हमें लगता है मार्केट बहुत ऊपर है, आज मैं कैसे डालूँ, लेकिन हमारा विजन लॉन्ग टर्म है, हमको डालना इक्विटी में है, लेकिन हमें थोड़ा डर लग रहा है कि मार्केट नीचे गया तो क्या वॉर चल रहा है, ये वो, तो आप क्या करोगे? उसको लिक्विड म्यूचुअल फंड में पार्क कर दोगे. पार्क समझते हैं आप? फॉर टाइम बीइंग. एंड देन एवरी मंथ certain amount will go into that particular equity scheme or whichever scheme you have selected as per your asset allocation. You're transferring that much amount in a very systematic way and you are getting rupee cost averaging benefit. So your average cost is really much better than investing it at one go, and that's what is systematic transfer plan. Right? Any questions so far? Done? Okay.
So what is the period of time that we should do it? The STP plan?
Yeah.
Whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 4 months?
So usually we suggest 1 year, 2 years. Yeah.
1 year?
Yeah. So also it depends on your base money, no? So if your base money is only 10,000, then it doesn't make sense to, do it for 5 years, no? So if your base money you feel is substantially more, then pro rata basis you can decide whether 6 months, 1 year, 2 year. But 1 year is a good way of looking at it, or at the most 2 years. But again, it depends. There's no thumb rule about anything.
STP and SWP, वो dynamically हो सकता है क्या? Suppose market is down, then that time it should be transferred. Withdrawal also, when market is up, it should be withdrawn. Means dynamic, like SIP also, when it should be dynamically allocated. If it is going certain percentage, then if it is going, NAV is going down, then it should invest more.
Very good
So
suggestion.
if there is a fund,
Launch करना चाहिए.
allocated.
So okay.
Dynamic base. It will take 1%, 2%, 5%.
So there are certain schemes जो फंड मैनेजर देखिए, म्यूचुअल फंड में क्या होता है ना, फंड मैनेजर के ऊपर सारी चीजें निर्भर करते हैं.
सिस्टम में होना चाहिए. It should be in the system.
Do you want to add something? Come.
It should be in the system.
Yeah. So let.
There is already in the system, they are called variable transfer plan.
Yeah.
So they vary and you can select how much percent. So suppose you give a rule saying every time the market drops.
हाँ. Come here. Come.
If you give a rule saying that every time the market drops maybe 2% or 5%, at that point of time your STP will hit. So those
Instructions can be put.
those kind of instructions can be put.
In the SIP also?
Not in SIP.
That's why I was not answering that.
Is there any fund house doing in SIP dynamically?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
But we'll have to come
See,
back.
sir, I'll just explain it to you. So, in an SIP, what happens is that the money being debited is from your bank. So, when you sign your mandates to, fix a certain amount, that is fixed with the bank. So, we cannot change it based on the market.
But we say it is a auto fund. Means we are not saying it is auto. Whatever fund house is raising,
the bank will give.
Sir, so that depends. If your money, there are options where you can have an increased amount when the markets go down. As an asset manager, we are not allowed to play around with your bank to take more money than.
Like you are from Mera Asset, can you think of in the future doing that?
Yeah. So, and it's not about an asset management company. It's not about an asset management company. A basic RBI rule says that if a mandate, I'm just taking an example on a number. If a mandate that you have signed says that the asset manager can withdraw 10,000 from your account, we cannot withdraw even 10,001. That's not allowed. So, which is where this option is available as a STP, a systematic transfer plan.
This question.
That.
So we'll come to all the other things. So, but superb suggestion, sir. And you know what? Most of the equity market investors, they do this. But in mutual fund, so far it's not that much allowed.
Which one?
We'll cover everything.
But if your financial advisor is good enough,
You know
they will
what?
call you back telling कि आज market गिरा है
I'll
तो
tell you,
आज
ma'am,
ज़्यादा है.
I'll tell you, we don't want that. We don't want that. That's why mutual fund, long term, I'll tell you, you can never time the market. Nobody in this world can time the market. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And we don't want you to have your blood pressure going up and down, up and down. That's the reason we have invited you to mutual fund. Then we are killing the entire purpose of inviting you to mutual fund by doing all these things so dynamically and actively. And leave everything to fund manager, no, little bit he's an expert. It's like, sir, with due respect, I mean, fantastic suggestion and I completely agree and it may come also in future. But you know what, it's like you're going to a doctor, you have to do a surgery, okay? So you will meet 10 doctors for taking the opinion, for understanding which doctor is the best, which hospital is the best for you. But finally, you will leave everything, आपको तो anesthesia दे देंगे ना? वो डॉक्टर ही है ना जो आपके शरीर पे कुछ कर रहा है. अच्छा, आपके तो फैमिली मेंबर्स को भी अंदर अलाउड नहीं है unless and until somebody is a doctor in your house. So you have to finally leave. The decision is yours, but finally fund manager and the processes and the due diligence and the SEBI as an authority is continuously working towards investors' protection and intention. So I think mutual fund का main story ये है कि थोड़ा long term, थोड़ा inactive हो जाओ आप sir. Then only you will create.
3 o'clock, SIP,
Yes.
NAV, is it 3 o'clock or 3:15? What time?
NAV time is 1 o'clock?
NAV time is closing price at 3:30.
3:30, okay, 3:30.
3:30, closing time.
Okay, the calculator.
Not time that. Never ever.
Which one you want?
If the market is crashed,
SIP?
I'll do it. SIP calculator ही करते हैं ना?
Also to that, I'll just add one more thing, that the NAV that you are allotted is at 3:30, but the purchase you are allowed to make is only till 3 o'clock.
yes.
So that next
हाँ,
half an hour
वो
you don't
सब
know what-
confusion है, आप ही जवाब दे दीजिए सर. मैं सच बताऊँ हमें. See, I have my SIP from 2005. I have never, means, I have topped up. इतना पैसा बना है यार मेरा, मैं क्या बोलूँ. If I would have restricted myself कि ऐसे नहीं और बहुत ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाया होता ना, मैं मेरी बात कर रही हूँ, मैं आप लोग गलत मत समझना. Sometimes too much thinking ना, it really hampers you. और
Ignorance is sometimes.
मैं मेरी बात कर रही हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को 1000 चीज़ और है ना, फिर भूल जाते हैं. मैं आज तक इक्विटी में लोएस्ट पे एंटर नहीं हो पाई हूँ आज तक, और मैं आपको सिखा रही हूँ क्योंकि नहीं होता है, कभी कभी मेरे को नहीं हो रहा है वो. सो फिर मैं क्या करती हूँ ना, इक्विटी में भी आई हैव स्टार्टेड बिलीविंग कि यू हैव टू हैव लॉन्ग टर्म अप्रोच. मेरे से इंट्राडे नहीं होगा, फ्यूचर्स ऑप्शन नहीं होगा, लोएस्ट में एंटर नहीं होगा, छोड़ दो. It's not possible for me. I know my nature. So if your nature permits, if your knowledge permits, if your confidence permits, please do it. But if you can't, then leave it. Then go to mutual fund and make money. अपना final motto क्या है? पैसा बनाना है. So all my mutual fund SIP has given me almost 22% CAGR. 2005 से कर रही हूँ. जब टॉप अप समझ में आया, टॉप अप शुरू किया. जो चीज़ें समझ में आती है ना नई वो करते जाओ बस. Ensure that you have to follow the processes. You have to follow the conviction which you have. Nothing else in this world will work for you.
Just explain CAG.
Yeah. So first time now calculators.
And long term is how many years? What do you
Goals are goal based financial planning. So
but long term?
नहीं तो मैं मेरे गोल्स की बात करती हूँ. मैंने 2005 में मेरे 2 बेटे हैं, तो मैंने 2005 में एल्डर सन और यंगर सन के फॉरेन स्टडीज़ का SIP शुरू किया. कभी टच नहीं किया सर उसको, उल्टा डाला बिकॉज मेरा गोल क्या था कि जब मेरा पहला बेटा शायद 20 साल का होगा, दूसरा बेटा शायद 18 साल का होगा, उसको चाहिए होगा पैसा 1-2 करोड़ तो आराम से लगेगा अगर US भेजना है तो. सो दैट वॉज माई गोल, दैट वॉज माई लॉन्ग टर्म. मैंने वो SIP कभी स्टॉप ही नहीं करी क्योंकि मुझे वो दोनों बेटों का प्लानिंग करना था. सो आई थिंक आई हैव ऑलरेडी स्पोकन टू यू ऑल कि आप अपने ड्रीम और गोल को चेस करो. लॉन्ग टर्म, शॉर्ट टर्म, मीडियम टर्म. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपका बेटा 5 साल के बाद शादी करने वाला है और अगर आपको शादी एकदम मस्त करना है, डेस्टिनेशन वेडिंग ये वो, तो आपको उस हिसाब से 5 साल के लिए वो पैसे आपके गोल हो गए. आपको 5 साल इज फॉर यू द टर्म. You have to invest, you have to decide the amount, how much money you want, and then you have to select the scheme, sir. See, again I'm repeating one thing, very easy and not complicated. If my son is getting married after 5 years and if I have to spend 1 crore in that wedding, I'm just giving you an hypothetical example. For that 1 crore, my risk-taking appetite is not equity. I'm a very scared person. So I'm investing everything in debt. 5 years debt. In debt, I can never get more than 8-9% or 10% maximum. So I cannot assume that for 5 years I will get 15%. Then my calculation will go wrong. So what I am doing is, I am taking into consideration my goal, number of years I can invest, which product I am selecting, what kind of returns I will get, and then amount. So if equity, and if I assume that I may get 12%, then I may need 10,000 rupees a month. But if I assume 8% returns in debt, then I may have to invest 15,000 rupees a month. So everything depends on which particular scheme, number of years, goal, your expectations, and when do you want your money. It differs for everyone. I hope I have not complicated you. I have made you very, very easy. Expectations mismatch ना सबसे बड़ा दुख होता है लाइफ में. So अपने expectations जो है ना वो उतने ही रखो जहाँ पे आपने इन्वेस्ट किया है. अगर आपने डेट में इन्वेस्ट किया है तो आप 8-9% से ज़्यादा एक्सपेक्ट मत करो. जो मिला वो बोनस. मेरे एक अंकल है, मैं उसको जब भी मिलती मेरे बाजू में ही रहते हैं. ही इज़ 82 years old. तो मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ कैसे हो अंकल, आप मज़े में सब. बोनस 6 अच्छा जा रहा है. 80 के बाद बोनस ही है अपनी लाइफ. वो इतना प्यार से बोलते हैं कि एकदम खुश हूँ, भगवान ने और मुझे बोनस दिया हुआ है, एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ. सो इन डेट इफ़ यू गेट एनीथिंग मोर देन 8-9%, you should be happy, ज़्यादा मिला. In equity, anything you get more than 12%, you should be happy. Wow, कितना अच्छा रिटर्न मिला. So this is how I would love you all to behave, so that you will never feel bad in anything, any decision you take in your life. So अब मैं quickly calculator शुरू कर देती हूँ.
How often do you review your
SIP every 3 years and portfolio once I just see. Unless and until drastically something is not performing, we do restructuring once in a year. SIP 3 years once.
The advantage is to make an SIP out of SWP.
Again depends, sir. Fantastic idea, but it depends. So you're right. So SWP you are withdrawing and then you are again reinvesting. Only thing is you should see that is it really required? Is it really required? It's like, is it advantageous to open 10 bank accounts or 20 folios? It depends.
SWP is out of the debt fund or liquid fund.
Yes.
It is giving you 8 or 9%.
Not even 8-9%, sir. 5-6%. I'm telling you, please keep your expectations. 6%, 5 to 6%.
So from that, when you start an SWP, shift it to SIP, so that SIP will at least give you good return on it.
Yeah, so that's what is STP, no?
I will answer.
STP.
So, two categories. in same fund house, you can't have switching, okay? From fund house 1 to fund house 2, you can't have.
Would you like to add?
Rather get it.
Now calculators, yeah.
That's all. So if you want to change the fund house, then you withdraw and do the SIP. But if it's the same fund house, go for that. Systemization. It is much more efficient.
So
No tax benefits, that entry and exit.
no tax liabilities, what you meant. So STP is what you are saying, no, sir? In a way. See, SWP is purely for withdrawal and for your requirement. See, let's make the best of the feature which is basic, in that particular. Okay, so now quickly 3-4 calculators and then maybe we can take all the questions. So this is SIP calculator, pure compounding, CAGR. Okay, so here 5,000 rupees every month you have invested for 30 years, and if you get it 15%, how much money you have got here? Okay, if you start your SIP 5 years late, yes, 50% of your wealth is gone because of compounding. So let me tell you one thing here. 80% of your wealth is created in the initial 15 years of your investments. And I'll prove you how. So in 5 years, how much you made? Boliye? Okay. In 10 years? 10 years में कितना बना? Very good. 15 साल में? Super. Now you see, after 15 years, every 5 years your money is becoming double. How much is this? This is compounding CAGR, and I will also show you the calculator exactly how and what exactly is this, okay? One more thing, I'm going to teach you today top up of SIP also. That calculator also I have, very.
When you are talking about rate of interest, in the long term, I know after COVID it has been
10 कर दीजिए ना सर, मैं कहाँ rate of interest दिखा रही हूँ? नहीं, मैं कहाँ rate of, सर मैं किधर आपको, अरे ये 5,000 नहीं आप 1,000 कर दीजिए ना, मैं कहाँ कुछ बता रही हूँ सर, मैं तो आपको कॉन्सेप्ट सिखा रही हूँ, मैं तो कॉन्सेप्ट सिखा रही हूँ सर। मैं कौन होती हूँ आपको 15% देने वाली? मैं कौन होती हूँ आपसे 5,000 लेने वाली? Who am I to tell you कि 30 साल के लिए करो, आप 50 साल के लिए करो, आप 100 साल के लिए करो, आप 10 साल के लिए करो. सी दीज आर फन कैलकुलेटर्स. आज हम फन वे से एरिथमेटिक्स और पैसा सीख रहे हैं. Everyone, you do, sir. These calculators are also with Dhruv ji. आप ले लो, खेलो, मस्त मजे से. Okay? So I'm just trying to teach you what is long term, what is SIP, what is compounding, how it works. अबे और एक कैलकुलेटर दिखाऊंगी आपको. टॉप अप हमने SIP किया. अब इस what we are trying to teach you here is just top up your SIP by 10% every year.
Percentage.
Yeah. Annual return? अच्छा, okay, sorry. दिख रहा है अभी? और करूँ? सॉरी. See, tech savvy, see how people get scared with numbers, na? I get scared with technology. Okay, so here it is an extended version of SIP. मैंने आपको I showed you the plain SIP with compounding impact and etc., right? Now here I am putting 12%. 12%, should I put 10% or 12%? We're just learning, okay? Don't know nothing much. So this, how much is this?
10 years.
No, how much is this rupees? 5,000. 240 is how many months? How many years? We learned about 30 years. So how many in 30 years? How many months? Superb. You all are super smart. Okay. Top up rate 10%, 5%, 15%. Let it be 10%. What is 10% top up rate? So today you started 5,000 rupees. Next year it will automatically take 5,500 from you. No human intervention, sir. Why time market? Why to do this? No. Just do once and it'll pick up on their own, autopilot. So 10%, okay. Initial capital I'm putting 0 because I assume you have just started your SIP. 12% is the percentage. 12% is CAGR, huh? Annualized growth return, huh? I will show you that calculator also, but right now you just register this. Okay, now these 3 things you have to understand. What is total investment here? Because of top up, 10% every year for 30 years. आराम से बोलिए. Now you remember in plain SIP, when we did no top up, how much would have been the principal amount? Approximately. It was not more than, say, 18 to 20 lakhs rupees. Okay? Even I don't know the exact amount. But because you topped up, because you put yourself in process-driven approach, approximately 75 lakhs to 80 lakhs rupees, automatically you invested through SIP, doing nothing. Otherwise, you would have spent that money somewhere or the other.
Madam, here we are assuming that 10% topper, you should be able to sustain that in the next 40 years.
Sir, आपका सैलरी तो बढ़ता है ना?
40 years, I mean, you may retire somewhere in
नहीं, ये यंगस्टर आप समझो ना, आप अपने बेटे को सिखा रहे हो ये. मैं आपको एक कॉन्सेप्ट, you can do for 10 years, no sir?
Okay, you can.
अच्छा, you can do for 10 years, 30% top up, sir. You are earning more. See, again, I'm just, combination, permutation is your choice. Yeah. You think that you're teaching this to your younger son, who has just started his job. आप मुझे just put your hand on your heart and tell me, do our children have any expenses, those who are staying with us? And they are earning. They can at least grow wealth for themselves. Why not? Teach them, no? So if they top up, automatically they are less spendthrift, no? Teach them. If they don't do it, leave it. How does it matter? अपना काम है एक बार बताना, 2 बार बताना, नहीं करते तो छोड़ दो. अभी नेक्स्ट सेकंड लास्ट कॉलम में जाइए. फाइनल कैपिटल कितना हुआ? फाइनल कैपिटल, टोटल रिटर्न्स कितना हुआ? वहां पे कितना था? 2.81. यहाँ पे कितना हुआ? 4 point. This is pure additional. मैं आपको सर एक होमवर्क देखिए, आप लोग सब बहुत इवॉल्व हो, बहुत सीनियर हो, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हो, मुझे पता है बड़े बड़े अच्छे लेवल पे हो आप लोग. Who am I to teach you? But trust me, जब हम बैठते हैं ना सब, जैसे दिवाली की साफ सफाई आएगी तो कितना कचरा फेंकेंगे ना. Because as a human being ना, we have a tendency of just means इकट्ठा करो. But that's why God has एक बोला कि दिवाली में आप साफ सफाई करो, खत्म करो, क्लीन करो. The same way you must sit back, relax and see कि मैं पैसा किधर, जब मेरा बैलेंस शीट क्या है, नेटवर्थ क्या है, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस किधर खर्चा करता हूँ. सस्पेंस अकाउंट आएगा बहुत बड़ा. You have no clue where your money is gone. So, and that's with everyone, okay? But if that ratio is too high, then you need a counselor. Then you need to take somebody's guidance. As simple as that. So this is your top-up SIP. Superb. See, you do it, you don't do it, that's your call. But I'm just putting these things in your mind. आगे आप सोचिए क्या करना है. अब मैं एक और अच्छा सा कैलकुलेटर बताऊंगी आपको, जिसमें है लोन वर्सेस SIP कर, क्योंकि ये SIP चल रहा है, मैं सारे SIP खत्म कर रही हूँ, and then we'll go on calculations part also. So loan versus SIP calculator. So can anybody tell me what am I trying to show you here? So many people take housing loan, right? So what happens is usually when you take a housing loan, your money, you almost pay double over a period of time, right? अगर आपका 20 years का housing loan है तो आप almost double जितना पे कर लेते हो. अगर आपने 50 लाख का लोन लिया तो आप प्रिंसिपल के साथ 1 करोड़ पे करोगे बैंक को. I mean मोटा मोटी, I am not going into detailed calculation. So what happens is the payment which you did to bank 1 crore, that's gone. After 20 years you are debt free and you have a very good asset with you, which is your home, but the liquidity is gone. From where you will get that 1 crore back? If not 1 crore, from where you will get that 50 lakhs back which you have paid as a principal? That's what is this. So what I am trying to teach you here is, suppose your loan amount is 50 lakhs. How much? Okay. Your tenure is 20 years. Your rate of interest is super. And your EMI works out to some 38,000 rupees per month. How much? Every year you are paying, say 38,000 rupees. So total EMI, how much you are paying? Okay. Now against that, I am just telling you that you start 10,000 rupees SIP too. So instead of 38 lakhs EMI, you think that your EMI is 38,000, you think that your EMI is 48,000. I repeat, you just add 10,000 rupees in your EMI thinking that your EMI is 48,000 rupees and not 38,000 rupees. Okay, it's a psychological thing which you are trying to develop in yourself, nothing else. So money is going totally 10,000 rupees more. Now you see the impact if you do that. So you did 10,000 rupees SIP for 20 years, and if you receive say 14% CAGR in any equity mutual fund scheme, again, past performance, no guarantee, and nobody knows how much you are going to get, but I am just putting it here. Now you see the calculation. How much you paid? This is plain SIP. I am not even talking about topping up here. How much SIP you paid total in 20 years? Okay, so total how much? 1 crore 17 lakhs rupees is something which is gone in 20 years total. And how much you are getting through SIP here? Now you see, many youngsters I meet, they say, I don't want my dad's money, I don't want my mom's money, I want to have my own house, I want to stay independently, I will pay EMI and I will do it. You must respect his or her view. Don't let him do, but teach him this, that you will be creating an asset, you will be debt free. At the same time, the liquidity or the amount which you have spent to acquire that asset over a period of time, that will be there in your account. So these are few superb fun calculators which you must go through. Now one more thing I'll do. Of course, sir. Of course. सर आप कहाँ कौन से एंगल से सीनियर सिटीजन लगते हैं सर? सर मेरा उम्र 53 इयर्स है. मैं तो आई फील आई एम 35 इयर्स ओल्ड. मैं यही बोल, शी इज एब्सोल्युटली राइट. देखिए, वी ऑल आर गोइंग टू लिव लॉन्गर. सर, जस्ट टू आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन, we all are going to live longer, we are going to look after our health and standard of living. Inflation will demand a lot of money from us. So you have to think that even after retirement you have 20-30 years, you can invest in equity also if you are capable. Mental health, physical health, money, if these three things, and relationships, of course, family support के बगैर तो कुछ होने वाला ही नहीं है life में. Good friends, then you see how you are never going to be a senior citizen. In fact, I have seen so many father-son jodi. Father look younger than sons because sons are obese, they eat junk food, they are not having that lifestyle. But suddenly in 40, 50, people start looking after their health so well and they are superb. So मुझे तो लगता है कि सीनियर ये सब, अरे सर ये आप देखो ना, अनिल कपूर को देखो, सबको देखो ना, they are maintaining themselves so well, yeah. We must learn from them, यार, है ना? Okay, so this is financial planning calculator. Yeah, no, I'll do it. Yeah, 10 minutes, yes. Oh. Yeah, it's a financial planning. मैं quickly दिखा दूँगी. Is it okay? Quickly I'll show you. This is nothing but all the 4 dreams and goals, or maybe 3, I have put it together. So there is something called effort multiple. The last I want to teach you. Effort multiple क्या होता है? What is effort multiple? If you choose wrong product for wrong goal, or correct goal I would say, or the goal which you want to achieve, then there is more than double, triple efforts you'll have to put. So for example, if you choose FD rather than mutual fund SIP, then in the first goal in retirement, you have to invest 84,000, first column if you see. And if you do even say hybrid or large cap equity mutual fund scheme, then only 33,000 to achieve that particular goal. So what is your effort multiple? 2.56. Means आपको 2.5 गुना ज़्यादा पैसा लगाना पड़ेगा, एफर्ट्स डालना पड़ेगा, तब जाके आपका वो गोल अचीव. तो जब आप फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग कैलकुलेटर देखते हैं तो एफर्ट मल्टीपल ज़रूर देखिएगा, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड नाउ विल जस्ट क्विकली सी द रिटर्न्स कैलकुलेटर. सो सबसे पहले मैं सिंपल इंटरेस्ट कैलकुलेटर दिखा रही हूँ यहाँ पे. व्हाट इज सिंपल इंटरेस्ट कैलकुलेटर? सिंपल सबको मालूम है, हम कोई भी फिक्स डिपॉजिट में या wherever we go and we invest our money. So this is how the simple interest is calculated. Suppose you have invested say 1 lakh rupees in any bank, okay? And if you get say 10% returns on that fixed, how much is your simple interest? 10,000 rupees. 1 lakh 10,000 is your simple interest. But what is your compounding interest? That is what is more important. So compound interest and CAGR interest, both are different. What is compound interest? Can anybody tell me what is compound interest? Correct. So this is what is compounding interest. So if you see here, principal amount, this is how many? Number of years is how many years? What is this? But over here, see, in the first year, suppose you got 5% rate, and you got how much? Calculation. Okay. Now, for example, if you got, okay, I'm making it simple, don't go into number and decimal points. 1 lakh, if you invested, you got say 10,000 rupees. 1 lakh 10,000 rupees, if you are investing in simple, then again next year 1 lakh 10,000 rupees you will have to invest, and you will get 10% on that, right? Every year, if not 10, 6%, 7%, whatever is the prevailing rate, that's what is simple. But if you are into compounding or CAGR, CAGR is average return, compounding is just, it's getting increased, it's just getting added. So for example, 1 lakh 10,000 rupees, again you are investing and you are getting say compounding interest on 1 lakh 10,000. If you are getting 10%, how much is that? On 1 lakh 10,000, if you get 10% is how much? On 1 lakh 10,000, if you get 1 lakh 10,000, again 10% on that. Isn't it? Loudly. So that's it, compound. Now third year, you remember top up I taught you? In that what was it? Every year you are adding amount. Here every year you are adding returns, interest also, or dividend, whatever, and then again you are getting returns on that. But in mutual fund you get different returns. There is nothing which is fixed. And in bank, you get simple interest, but it keeps on changing depending upon the interest rate curve. So this is compounding. Now what is CAGR return? That's very interesting for you. What is CAGR return? So always when you put anything in formula, when you're investing, it's in minus, okay? So I'm not here to teach you formula, I'm teaching you the concepts, just understand that. So what is your present value? You have invested, say, 5 lakh rupees. What is your future value? You invested this for 5 years, okay? You invested 5 lakhs rupees for 5 years in any CAG, in compounding, not in bank or anything, in mutual fund, lump sum, okay? Let me give you a correct example. When you invest in mutual fund lump sum, 5 lakh rupees on a particular day, and you invested for 5 years, and you got how much after 5 years? What is the amount? How much? What is CAGR here? What is CAGR here? 25%. What is CAGR full form? It is annualized but average growth return, which means not every year you have got fixed 25% returns. In simple, you get every year whatever is the return. But in this, some year you must have got 30 years, somewhere you must have got 40, somewhere you must have got 12%, and your average is, so for lump sum returns calculation in mutual fund, the easiest way is CAGR. Yield, yeah. अमाउंट तो आपको पता है ना, फेस वैल्यू तो आपको पता है, NAV से आप यूनिट्स को मल्टीप्लाई करोगे तो आपको अमाउंट मिलेगा, एवरी डे मिलेगा. NAV multiplied by your number of units is your amount, that's your 15 lakhs rupees, right? So yield calculate करना है CAGR, then this is how you should do. So 25% is your average. You cannot say I got 40% in 1 year, I got 12% in second year. When your face value and present value, the difference between that and number of years are divided by that is your CAGR return. Is it very simple and clear? So lump sum mutual fund only CAGR. Now one more thing I would like to quickly explain. Maybe questions can we take it because now only 5-10 minutes are left. Okay, is it relevant? Then you please ask me.
ARR actually.
That I'm coming, no? XIRR and IRR. So when you calculate lump sum in mutual fund only, you should look at CAGR returns. Easy for us, okay? Now I'm teaching you XIRR. So how many of you all feel that XIRR and IRR is different or it's same? XIRR and IRR is different or same? Little different, I would say. But don't make your life very complicated. Main rate of interest is CAGR and simple. That difference you should know. And compounding you should know, which I've already taught you. Everything I've taught you, which is very important. Top up also I taught you. But just for knowledge purpose, now what is XIRR and what is IRR? Okay? Internal rate of return and external rate of return. Itna hi farak hai. So when you are investing it into SIP, what is SIP? Every month some amount you are investing, right? So your entry point is different, no? So for 5,000 rupees, you will get 12 months returns. But the second month 5,000 rupees, you have to consider 11 months. For the third month 5,000 rupees, you'll have to consider 10 months and so on and so forth. So in this complicated situation, when your entry point is different, but on a same particular day of every month, like SIP, then you should calculate which one, XIRR or IRR? IRR. Because your date is fixed. Okay? Date is fixed. But if the same amount, 5,000 rupees, you are not investing in SIP, but you are investing in equity. And you are always aiming the low market. So what happens is, do you have a pen here? I don't know. It's okay. So see the chart is like this, okay? Equity market chart is like this, okay? So all the low, not the up, low. And you are entering in those low of equity, sir jaise bata rahe the वैसा ही, then you have to calculate XIRR. You understood? Because that will capture even those irregular dates of your investments. The formula will capture that. Okay? This is the only difference, but don't break too much of your mind into returns always, because that will not give any purpose to what we are trying to, achieve from these investments. And last is your rolling returns. Again, rolling returns is actually not for the investors, but still I'm teaching you. So rolling returns is usually by the used by the research analysts or the one who's preparing the curves. Chartered accountants must be knowing here very well. Daily rolling returns are calculated. Can you imagine? So if my SIP is from 2005, it's almost how many years now? 20 years? 20 years multiplied by 365 days. So that kind of rolling returns you will meet. Usually rolling return is calculated to forecast the trend, to understand that when the market were low, how much returns that particular scheme gave, or when the markets were high, how much returns they could give, when the global market was not so good, how much that particular category performed. So usually rolling return is the extensive most return, daily calculated. CAGR is calculated on yearly annualized average. XIRR is on the same date, maybe in intervals. Simple is very simple. But rolling return is mainly for the research analysts or the analytical purpose के लिए जब trend या जब curves बनाने हैं या जब history को समझाना है या future predict करना है तब rolling returns देखते हैं. That's it. That's the only difference, and it goes into so many spreadsheets because then daily आप 365 को आप average करोगे या ऐसा कुछ करोगे. But again the returns are same way calculated, but rolling returns are that way. So they also find out how many days it was negative, how many days it was positive. It's all for the analytical purposes, nothing else. So with that, I think quite a few things I have explained you, and maybe Gift City we can keep for the next session. So thank you so much. I think I have finished properly in time. Thank you so much. Thank you.